everyone, welcome to Stories with Miss Sam. This week our theme is going to be all about going back to school. I know you all might be going to school soon and it'll be your first day. You might be excited, you might be nervous, but either way we're going to read a few books to get you ready to go back. We've got some things here about Clark the Shark and a dinosaur going to school and Splat the Cat. But of course, we're going to have to start with our song Zoom, 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 and we're going to go back to the original. No, last week we did a different version of it for pirates, but let's go to the moon today. So, get your hands ready. All right. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! All right, so our first book about going back to school is going to be about Splat the Cat. I don't know if you've read about him before, but he's going back to school Splat. Alright. Splat's tail wiggled wildly with excitement as he walked to cat school. It was the first day of a new school year, and he could not wait to see his old friends and his teacher, Mrs. Wimpledimple. Splat's tail dragged behind him as he walked home that afternoon. Now he was not excited at all. It was the end of the first day of a new school year, and he already had homework. Oh no. What's wrong, Splat? Asked his little sister. I have to do a show and tell about my summer vacation, Splat said. That sounds like fun, said his little sister. But I did so many super things. How can I choose just one thing to show, Splat said. Over the summer, Splat rode his bike in a very important race. Can I come too? Asked Splat's little sister. Little sister's bikes are not fast enough to race, Splat said. But she tagged along anyway. And he went swimming with sharks in the ocean. Can I come too? Asked Splat's little sister. Little sisters aren't strong enough to fight off sharks, Splat said. But she tagged along anyway. Bad Sharky. Splat also played in a big soccer game. Can I come too? Asked Splat's little sister. Little sisters aren't big enough to play soccer, Splat said. She tagged along anyway. Splat went searching for pirate treasure. Oh. Can I come too? Said Splat's little sister. Finding treasure is too hard for little sisters, Splat said. But she tagged along anyway. Look at that treasure. It looks like cupcakes. Splat even built a rocket ship to launch him into space. Can I come too? Asked Splat's little sister. Not now, Splat said. I'm counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Uh-oh, I forgot what comes next. She tagged along anyway. 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, she said. I had lots of adventures, Splat told Seymour. How can I possibly choose just one thing to show? Seymour shrugged. He didn't have any ideas. Suddenly, Splat thought of something. There was one really important thing he could show. I wonder what it would be. The next day, Splat went to school. with his tail wiggling wildly, and Splat was most pleased that his sister tagged along too. And he brought his little sister for show and tell. That's cute. All right, so our second book is about Clark the Shark and him going to his first day of school. So I know you guys probably heard a lot about sharks last week during Miss Mary Kay's story time, and this is one that's going to show us how sharks go to school. All right. In all the wide blue seas and all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Roosterfish Elementary. And of all the fish at Theodore Roosterfish, the biggest and the strongest was Clark the Shark. Clark loved school, and he loved his teacher, Mrs. Inky Dink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig with his friends. Clark loved his life. "School is awesome!" shouted Clark the Shark. "Less shouting, more reading," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "Lunchtime is sweet!" yelled Clark the Shark. "Munch your own lunch," said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. "Recess rocks!" bellowed Clark the Shark. "You are playing rough, Clark," cried the other kids. Yes, Clark loved his life with all of his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too loud. He was too wild. He was just too much shark for the other fish to handle. After a while, no one would play with Clark. No one ate lunch with him. No one sat with him at circle time. Even his best friend, Joey Mackerel, said, "Cool your jets, Clark. You're making me crazy." Aw, poor Clark. One day, Clark asked Mrs. Inky Dink, "What's wrong with everyone?" Mrs. Inky Dink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard. And gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. "There's a time and a place for everything," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "And sometimes the rule is stay cool." At recess, Clark tried to stay cool, but he pushed the swing with too much zing. "Sorry," said Clark, "I forgot." "Yikes!" cried Joey Mackerel. At lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. "Sorry," said Clark, "I forgot." "We're starving," said his friends. In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. "Now, Clark," said Mrs. Inky Dink, "this isn't the time or the place. Tell me, what's the rule?" "Stay cool," said Clark. "Hey, that rhymes," he cried. Then Clark got a big idea in his sharky head. "Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time," he thought. The next day, he put his plan to work. In class, when lessons got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up out of his seat. Instead, he told himself, "When teacher's talking, don't go walking." And what do you know? It worked! "Attaboy, Clark," said Mrs. Inky Dink. Clark smiled. Lessons are fun. At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, "Only munch your own lunch." And it worked again. "Way to go, Clark," said his friends. Clark grinned. Lunch is fun. At playtime, Clark told himself, "Easy does it, that's the way. Then my friends will let me play." And playtime was fun. Once more, Clark loved his life. But then a shadow fell across the playground. A ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. "It's a new kid, and he looks scary," cried Joey Mackerel. "Swim for your lives!" The squid squashed the slide, and it snapped off the swings. "Oops, my bad," said the new kid. "Wait," said Clark. "He just wants to play. Let's find a way." And he swam at the new kid with all his might. Clark played harder than he had ever before, upsy-downsy, and spin-em-a-jig. Why, he even made up a new game, Tail-Wumpa-Lumpus. "Wow, that was fun," said the new kid breathlessly, and he settled down. "If you want to come to school, you've got to stay cool," said Clark. "That's right, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink. "And thanks for taking care of our new classmate, Sid the Squid." "Hooray for Clark the Shark!" everyone cheered. That night, Clark's mother asked, "What did you learn at school, dear?" "There's a time and a place for everything," Clark said. "Sometimes you stay cool. But sometimes a shark's gotta do what a shark's gotta do." The end. All right, so I have a little finger play that goes along with that story. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but a group of fish is called a school. So in today's little finger play, we have a group of fish, a school of fish, and we have a shark. And we've got our little fishies swimming in the sea. We've got our little shark also swimming in the sea. And it has a little song to it, and we'll learn to count as well. So we'll count to 5 with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here we go. There were 5 little fishies swimming in the sea, teasing Mr. Shark, "You can't catch me." Along came Mr. Shark, as quiet as can be. Snap! Now there are 4 little fishies swimming in the sea, teasing Mr. Shark, "You can't catch me." Along came Mr. Shark, as quiet as can be. Snap! Oh no. Now there are 3 little fishies swimming in the sea, teasing Mr. Shark, "You can't catch me." Along came Mr. Shark, as quiet as can be. Snap! Now there are 2 little fishies swimming in the sea, teasing Mr. Shark, "You can't catch me." Along came Mr. Shark, as quiet as can be. Snap! Now there is 1 little fishy swimming in the sea, teasing Mr. Shark, "You can't catch me." Along come Mr. Shark, as quiet as can be. Snap! Now there are no more fishies in the sea. All right, so we learned to count from 1 to 5 with our little fish, our school of fish. And we have one more book to finish it up. Speaking of eating, our last book is We Don't Eat Our Classmates. I think that's a lesson that the shark could have learned. All right. Penelope Rex was nervous. It's not every day a little T-Rex starts school. What are my classmates going to be like? Will they be nice? How many teeth will they have? This was very important. Penelope's mom bought her a new backpack with ponies on it. Ponies were Penelope's favorite because ponies are delicious. Penelope's dad packed her a lunch of 300 tuna sandwiches and 1 apple juice. It's a lot of sandwiches. Finally, the big day came, and Penelope Rex was very surprised to find out that all of her classmates were children. Oh no, she's the only dinosaur. So she ate them, because children are delicious. Penelope Rex, said Mrs. Noodleman, we don't eat our classmates. Please spit them out at once. And so she did. It was not the best way to start school. Still, Penelope was determined to have a good first day. She tried hard to make friends at recess. She trying to eat them? She finger painted some of her best work. I think she painted a picture of her eating them. She even saved Griffin Emery a seat at lunch. You can sit here on her plate. Penelope started to notice everyone was making friends but her. Oh, it was lonely. When she got home, her dad asked about her first day of school. I didn't make any friends, Penelope cried. None of the children wanted to play with me. Penelope Rex, her father asked, did you eat your classmates? Well, maybe sort of just a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to make friends, said her dad, especially if you eat them. You see, Penelope, children are the same as us on the inside, just tastier. That gave Penelope a lot to think about. The next day, Penelope tried really hard. But poor Penelope, she could not stop herself from eating her classmates. And they were all afraid of her. Except Walter. Walter was a goldfish. So Penelope tried to make friends with him. Will you be my friend? Chomp! Eee! Cried Penelope. He's eating my finger! Oh no. There he is. Once Penelope found out what it was like to be someone else's snack, she lost her appetite for children. I bet she did. She stopped eating her classmates, even when Cece Woodman spilled barbecue sauce all over herself. That's tempting. And soon Penelope made friends. Found you! Want a brownie? I helped make them. Now, even when children look especially delicious, she peeks at Walter and remembers what it's like when someone tries to eat you. And Walter, the goldfish, stares right back at her and licks his lips. Because dinosaurs are delicious. All right, the end. That's it for our books this week about going back to school. I hope you all have fun on your first day, and I hope you get to enjoy and meet new people, and I'll see you next week for our story time. Bye!